A Premier League striker is back on West Ham's radar. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the West Ham Network. My name's Anton, bringing you this morning's, I should say, West Ham Daily. Now, interestingly enough, West Ham have been linked to several strikers throughout our lifetime at West Ham. We've been one of the most unsuccessful clubs in terms of signing a striker for many a year. And what would make this season different? What would make signing a striker this year be different? Nobody will ever know really what will make it different, but something does need to give. Something does need to change at West Ham. I don't know what that is. I really don't know what that is. I'm beyond questioning the situation when it comes to West Ham signing strikers. However, West Ham are interested in a Premier League striker. That Premier League striker that I am talking about is Awoniyi. Now, a striker we have been linked to. The reason how this has come about is the Athletic reporters from the Athletic were doing a live question and answer session, and it was revealed that West Ham still like the Nigerian striker who could be available this season. Now, David Moyes was keen to sign Awoniyi in January, but a move never materialised for the striker. While David Moyes has now left the club, Awoniyi is still admired by some key figures at the club. Fingers crossed that key figure is the person that's in charge, Tim Steidten. Now, it's unclear whether or not West Ham will make a move for Awoniyi this summer, although he could be firmly, a striker is firmly at the top of Lopetegui's wish list. Now, his 23-24 season was plagued by injuries for Nottingham Forest, and after going through surgery to correct a groin problem, which could be a concern, he missed upwards of 12 games for Forest between mid-November and late January. And despite his injury problems, he contributed to Premier League safety for Nottingham Forest with 6 goals and 3 assists in 20 games. But he could also be the ideal successor to Mickey Antonio. Now, when fit, he could easily pass as one of the most dangerous strikers in the Premier League. And I'm not jesting with that. A 6-foot strong striker. He's deceptively quick and he's effective, very effective at playing with his back to goal. He could feature as a target man, given his intimidating strength, which he has in an abundance, his exceptional hold-up play, which he has in an abundance. He could also play in the shoulders of the last defender, emphasising his versatility in that striker's role as an out-and-out centre-forward. He probably will be valued reasonably high by Nottingham Forest, but the key question here is that key point I want to make to you is they have to sell. In addition to the games that he missed last season, he was kept out for 15 games for the previous season. So we do have to watch the injury record. But during his 2-year stay with Union Berlin, he only missed 11 games in total. And apparently he's valued of in and around 25, 30 million pounds for what you could call a Premier League proven striker. Now, what do we know about Awoniyi apart from what I've told you? He's a Nigerian international. He learned his trade in the Imperial Soccer Academy in his native Nigeria, and he was earmarked as a future star. And they said at the time that his mental attitude stood out. He went on to earn a place in Nigeria's under-17 squad for the 2013 World Cup. And he inspired the Nigerian squad to glory alongside Iniacho, Wilfred Ndidi. He scored 4 goals at the tournament, attracting attention from the top European clubs in the process. What people don't realise is, and a lot of people forget this, is Liverpool won the race to bring him to the club 2 years later, snapping the then 18-year-old up for just £400,000. But he was loaned out to FSV Frankfurt, but he didn't make his debut for the club until February of 2016. And he would only score once in 13 appearances in the Bundesliga for FSV, but couldn't prevent them from suffering relegation to the third tier of German football, the Bundesliga 2 that he was in. Now, Dutch team NEC Nijmegen then signed Awoniyi on loan for the duration of the 2016-17 season, but he struggled for consistency in the Dutch league. Now, the Algerian ace only found the net twice in 18 games and suffered a pain of relegation once again. Awoniyi subsequently returned to Liverpool, but work permit issues made further loan spells inevitable. Now, he had mixed spells in Belgium. Royal Excel Mouscron were the next club to take a chance on Awoniyi, and he made an instant impact by scoring in his debut in the Belgian Pro League clash. In the Pro League, sorry. Awoniyi finished the campaign with 10 goals, 7 assists, his name in all competitions, and he was rewarded with a long-term contract at Liverpool in July of 2018 before being loaned back to Belgium, this time with Ghent. Now, that agreement was cut short in January of 2019. Awoniyi left Ghent with no goals from 15 games. However, he returned to Mouscron for the second half of the campaign and rediscovered his scoring touch as he hit 7 goals in 9 matches. Now, unfortunately, he was no further forward in getting granted a work permit that would allow him to kickstart his Liverpool career, as he'd been unable to break through the Nigeria squad at international level. So he then was sent out on loan for the 6th time in the space of 4 years when Mainz came calling back in 2019. And his fortune didn't improve for the club. He just scored once in 11 Bundesliga appearances. And he was hospitalized after a severe concussion during a 1-0 home loss. And he made his full recovery, but didn't feature again for Mainz. However, it turned out to be 7th time lucky for Awoniyi, who got a second chance in Germany back in 2020 season to 21 season. Union Berlin had been promoted to the Bundesliga for the first time ever a year earlier and brought Awoniyi in on loan in a bid to push for their top half finish. Now, he had the desired impact, despite dealing with a string of niggling injuries, which again has found his way back into his game, as he recorded 5 goals and 4 assists in the Bundesliga, helping them secure a 7th place qualification for Europa Conference League. Now, Awoniyi did join Liverpool's first team squad for a pre-season training camp in Austria ahead of the 21-22 season after being granted a UK work permit, but Union Berlin moved to bring him back to Germany on a permanent basis, and Jurgen Klopp gave him the green light. Union bought Awoniyi straight out for £6.5 million in July of 2021, and Liverpool did negotiate a 10% sell-on fee for the deal, but he didn't make a single senior appearance across 7 years for Liverpool, who were soon left wondering what could have been for the player due to his work permit issues. But he finally began fulfilling his immense potential in his second season with Union Berlin, as he hit 20 goals in all competitions while laying on 5 assists. They finished 5th in the Bundesliga to qualify for the Europa League, and also had a good run in the Pokal semi-finals. Now, Nigeria also handed him his maiden call-up for the 22 World Cup qualifier against Central African Republic, and he went on to lead the line for his country in the African Cup of Nations. That's when Nottingham Forest came calling, and Steve Cooper came in, spent a lot of money and loads of players, 21 new players to be exact. Awoniyi was the most expensive player that they did bring in, forked out a then club record of £17.5 million, offering him a 5-year deal. And he did spearhead them and help them to Premier League survival in their first season. 27 games in the Premier League, 10 goals and 1 assist in his maiden season in the Premier League. Last year, like I said, scuppered with a few injuries, 20 games, 6 goals, 3 assists. But this player is a bit of a beast mode. He is really, really strong, and Nottingham Forest have to sell. So I just wonder if West Ham will be doing their due diligence on the player. They've probably done their due diligence on him and seen that is there something about this player? Now, we have to think differently because we're hopefully going to be playing a more of a possession-based style football, and he can hold the lines well, and you're going to need a striker to be able to hold the ground well to allow other areas of attack to come in. But when you weigh it up against Awoniyi, to Girassi, to Boniface, to Enesri, to all these players that we're linked to, how much money are West Ham willing to pay for a player? How much injuries has this player had in their career? You can never stop a player from getting injured just from the off. For me, I do like Awoniyi. I'm not going to lie to you. For the right price, I would absolutely take the option. 26 years old, Nigerian international player, played for his country 7 times, scoring 2 goals. And like I said to you earlier on, most of his career, he does have goals in him if he's played in a right formation. So let's see where this one takes us. This is a link. The Athletic have come out and said that West Ham are still keen on him. So let's see where this one takes us. Join us later on for another West Ham Daily. There'll be plenty of content coming your way. Come on, you.